Has the Hobgoblin found his ultimate ace in the hole to not only win him the New York gang war, but take down Miles Morales' Spider-Man in one fell swoop? Well, let's hop into the pages of Miles Morales' Spider-Man issue number 14, a tie-into the gang war event, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, as we join the book, we're reintroduced to perennial D-list Spider-Man foes, the Enforcers, you know their names, Ox Montana and Fancy Dan. They've been called to a dingy warehouse by a shadowy middleman working for the Hobgoblin who hopes to recruit them as extra muscle for the gang war. The Enforcers wonder why the hell they should work for someone like Hobgoblin when they could just as easily beat him up and steal what little territory he has, but Kingsley is quick to sweeten the deal by offering them brand new high-tech weapons and equipment in exchange for their servitude, and also not so subtly threatening them with his new right-hand man, the Prowler, but more on the Prowler in a minute. Now, back over with Miles, him and the Daughters of the Dragon's disagreement with Agent Gao's Cape Killers ends up blowing up into a full-on brawl in the street. They've been ordered to bring Miles and the other heroes in, as even during a gang war crisis when the good guys could use all hands on deck, they're still technically breaking Fisk's law, the very law that will almost certainly be repealed by the end of this gang war event story. Good on Cody Ziegler for actually bringing it all back and making it important, because Lord knows no other book has actually bothered to do anything with it. Thankfully, Miles and his friends won't have to fight alone for long, as Starling, Miles' girlfriend, has been dispatched to try and recruit a couple more people for the battle. First up on the recruitment drive, surprise, surprise, turns out to be none other than Shift, aka the friendly Miles Morales Spider-Man clone from his own Clone Saga. Wow, you know what? Last week, everyone in my comment section was asking, where's Shift? Where's Shift? Well, here he is. Apparently, he's just been living in the Vision Academy basement this whole time, which at first seems a little harsh, but then you're reminded, oh wow, free rent in this economy, go Shift. Now, back over with Miles and the Daughters of the Dragon, the fight only continues to intensify. If nothing else, though, this actually serves as a nice opportunity to showcase some character growth. Matt Gargan the Scorpion hates the idea of having to fight Miles because, well, they kind of became good friends during that last big Carnage crossover. But unfortunately, Agent Gao definitely has his hands tied right now, and a job is a job. If nothing else, though, Scorpion goes out of his way to say that Miles is his favorite Spider-Man, way better than the other guy. And honestly, with the last couple years of Peter-centric stories, I get the strong feeling that Scorpion isn't alone in that sentiment anymore, is he? The Cape Killer's biggest problem is that they're not actually acting as a team. Moreover than that, they have deputized their new youngest member, Gust J. Jackson, way too early. She can't control her powers and ends up being more of a liability to her side than an actual benefit. The worst part is that Miles as Spider-Man doesn't want to fight. He knows that there's way bigger fish to fry in New York City right now, and he positively hates it that Agent Gao is abusing her authority and using city time and funding to hassle him and his people who are just desperately trying to do some good. Again, kind of a major theme of this current Cody Ziegler run, if you ask me. Now, in his time of need, with his back against the wall, who does Miles actually trust to untangle this wicked web that Agent Gao has been weaving? Well, you won't be surprised at all to find out that he actually calls Peter Parker. After all, Miles got brought into this fight by Peter Spider-Man, who in turn was actively deputized by Mayor Luke Cage. And he's currently fighting monsters alongside Jen Walters, the She-Hulk, who is an actual lawyer and as such is able to argue precedent for Miles and his team in front of Gao. And while yes, it is true that the superheroes are actively working as deputies of New York right now, Gao still has to twist the knife in a little deeper, saying that the Daughters of the Dragon did not get the same treatment as Miles and Peter, and as such, they're going to have to go to jail just to try and meet some quotas and make her feel like she's actually doing something. Misty and Colleen are fine with this so long as Miles and the Cape Killers actually get out there and do something to save innocent people from the gang war. Granted, they won't have to wait too long, as it's at that very moment they end up coming under attack by the Enforcers and Prowler. And hey, let's speak about Prowler. In the last issue, everyone rushed to correct me when I said that this Prowler was Aaron Davis. Everyone thought that it was Hobie Brown. Well, I feel more than a little vindicated because, yeah, it actually is Uncle Aaron in that costume, but it also just so happens to be the original Hobie Prowler costume. No, it's not some art mistake or creative oversight. Actually, if you read the talkback section at the end of the comic, Ziegler says that this is actually planting seeds for the next big Uncle Aaron-centric story. And in fairness, I was actually wrong about a lot of Uncle Aaron's fate following the end of the Solid in a mid-run, so you know what? We were both right, everybody. We were both right. Understandably, Miles is pretty confused and pretty pissed off at the idea that his uncle would throw in with Hobgoblin during the gang war. Uncle Aaron himself is quite cryptic with his nephew, saying that what he did for the good of everyone and that he just can't explain explain himself right now. All of this actually ends up leading to a very interesting little scenario wherein Scorpion protects his friend Spider-Man from his own uncle during the battle. Also, Matt Gargan must be a wrestling fan, because he just straight up refers to the Enforcers as a bunch of jobbers of jobbers even. Wow, you know what, that's a joke that I would normally make in a video, and here's Cody Ziegler just make it in the book proper. Do you even have to ask if this was my favorite book of 2023, because it definitely was. The fight ends up turning against Miles and his allies, but just when they think that the bad guys might finally move in for the kill, Starling returns with reinforcements, and oh boy did she bring some doozies. Not only has Schiff come to help making his triumphant return, but also the magnificent Miss Marvel in her brand new X-Men costume back to help out her former champion's teammate. And so that was Miles Morales issue number 14, everybody, and once again, this book continues to just be an absolute joy from start to finish. It's so good, I'm forgetting that it's part of a so-so event. Seeing so many of Miles's friends and allies from previous runs come back to help him out really warmed my heart, as did Miles's first call in a time of need, be to Peter. Geez, it's almost like therapy is really working out for him or something, and even if you're mad at your friend and even if you fight, you should definitely still try and call. Because that's the healthy, mature adult thing to do now, isn't it? I'm also really hyped to see what a writer like Cody Ziegler could do with a character like Uncle Aaron, one who, as I've said before, has had so many ups and downs and soft reboots. If I had to make some bold predictions here, maybe the idea is to try and bring back a little sinister edge to Uncle Aaron. Obviously, in the Solid in a mid-run, he had gotten really close to Miles and his dad. But maybe the plan is for him to be an anti-hero again, someone who only occasionally helps out Miles, but who is also still trying to make a buck as a work-a-day costumed crook. Again, that's probably more in line with the movie counterpart and even the newer video games. Overall, I'd feel comfortable giving this one another very well-deserved 8 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.